Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now. Football fans, we need to talk about what just happened in Cleveland because if you weren't paying attention on Sunday, you missed one of the most significant moments of the entire 2025 NFL season. What unfolded on that field wasn't just another game between two struggling teams fighting for draft position. This was a statement. This was validation. This was the moment when a young quarterback who had been disrespected, overlooked, and underestimated by virtually every team in the league stood up and said, "Enough is enough." Shedeur Sanders, the fifth-round pick that nobody wanted, the quarterback that Kevin Stefanski didn't even want on his roster, the young man who had to sit through 143 agonizing picks on draft night before finally hearing his name called, just became the first rookie quarterback in NFL history to accomplish something truly extraordinary. He didn't just have a good game. He didn't just have a solid performance. He had the single best game of any rookie quarterback in the entire 2025 season. And he did it while playing for a team with 3 wins and 10 losses that seems hell-bent on discovering innovative new methods of losing football games. The irony is almost too perfect to believe. This was supposed to be the college football dream matchup that never happened in 2024. Shedeur Sanders versus Cam Ward, the 144th pick facing off against the first overall selection. The quarterback everyone wanted to see play against the quarterback nobody seemed to notice. The forgotten man versus the golden child. Cynical fans on social media dubbed it the Failure Bowl, a sarcastic reference to two franchises that had combined for only 5 victories heading into Week 14. Two organizations that picked first and second in the draft and will likely find themselves right back at the top of the draft order in 2026. But those cynical fans didn't get the failure they expected. What they witnessed instead was history being made in real time. What they saw was a 5th-round pick completely obliterate every narrative about where he should have been drafted and demonstrate once and for all that talent doesn't care about draft position and greatness doesn't wait for permission from scouts who got it wrong. Shedeur Sanders threw for 3 touchdowns and 364 yards. He rushed for 29 yards and scored another touchdown on the ground, making him the team's leading rusher despite being a quarterback. He generated over 200 yards of explosive plays, including 2 connections longer than 30 yards, and one that came just a few yards short of being a 60-yard touchdown bomb. His 364 passing yards rank as the 5th most in a single game for the Browns since 2018. Since the start of the 2024 season, only Jameis Winston, a veteran quarterback with years of experience in the league, has thrown for more yards in a single game wearing a Cleveland uniform. But here's the historic part, the record-breaking achievement that has the entire NFL world buzzing with excitement and disbelief. Shedeur Sanders just delivered the best single-game performance of any rookie quarterback in the 2025 season. Nobody else in his draft class, not the first-round selections, not the second-round picks, not anyone, has come remotely close to what Shedeur accomplished against the Tennessee Titans. The second-best statistical performance by a rookie quarterback this season was Jackson Dart's game against Denver, where he threw for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. When you factor in his rushing yards, Sanders beat that total by nearly 100 yards. Let that sink in for a moment. A 5th-round pick, a quarterback who watched 143 other players get selected before him, who has had to battle for every single snap he's received, who has been undermined by his own coaching staff at critical moments, just produced the best game of any rookie quarterback in the entire league this season. And he accomplished this feat while facing off against the number 1 overall pick at the same position on the opposite sideline. The contrast between Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward in this game couldn't have been more stark or more telling. Ward was the first overall selection, the player Tennessee traded valuable assets to move up and acquire, the can't-miss prospect who was supposed to be a sure thing. Now, serving as the Titans' quarterback, he occupies a comfortable position on the depth chart with nothing to prove because the organization is fully committed to him regardless of performance. His game was mediocre at best. Meanwhile, Sanders was fighting for his professional life, trying to prove he belongs in this league, attempting to overcome a head coach who appears determined to undermine him at every turn, and he went out and made history. This confrontation had been years in the making. Sanders and Ward were constantly linked together in the pre-draft process thanks to Deion Sanders' prominent media presence and Ward's own active social media accounts. These two young quarterbacks spent considerable time together at practices, at postseason awards ceremonies, and at numerous other events where they were both being celebrated as elite prospects. Before the draft, the consensus seemed to be that Ward would go to Tennessee with the first pick, and Shedeur would come off the board shortly thereafter, probably in the first round and possibly even in the top 10 selections. Instead, Sanders would have to wait and wait and wait some more. 143 picks, more than 4 complete rounds of the draft where teams selected other quarterbacks, other positions, and even picks that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. He sat there the entire time knowing deep in his heart that he was better than what the league seemed to think of him. The disrespect was palpable. The snub was undeniable. And on Sunday, Shedeur Sanders made every single team that passed on him pay dearly for their colossal mistake. The journey that led to this historic performance makes the accomplishment even more impressive and meaningful. Sanders made his NFL debut on November 16th against the Ravens, coming in to relieve starter Dillon Gabriel. He completed only 4 passes in that limited opportunity, barely getting a chance to showcase what he could do. In his next appearance, he threw for 209 yards, followed by 149 yards in the subsequent game. Over those 2 contests, he accumulated 358 yards and threw 2 touchdowns. Then came Sunday, when he exploded for 364 yards, 3 touchdown passes, 29 rushing yards, while leading the team on the ground, plus a rushing touchdown. In a single game, Shedeur produced approximately as much offense as he had generated in his previous 2 starts combined, and then added more on top of that. This wasn't merely incremental improvement. This was a quantum leap forward. This was evidence that he's not just developing. He's arriving ahead of schedule. The throws he made weren't just impressive from a statistical standpoint. They were technically excellent and aesthetically beautiful. Gorgeous fade routes that demonstrated exceptional touch and timing. Deep shots downfield that showcased both arm strength and precision accuracy. Intermediate routes that proved his understanding of spacing and timing concepts. Scramble drills that highlighted his underrated mobility and ability to extend plays beyond the structure of the offense. This was a comprehensive quarterback performance, the kind of complete game that scouts dream about seeing from a prospect. Except this prospect is already in the NFL, already competing against professional defenses, already proving he belongs at the highest level of football. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders himself, was in attendance to witness the spectacle. He traveled to Cleveland and watched from the stands as his son etched his name into the history books. They don't get to share those pregame walks on the field anymore like they enjoyed in Colorado. But Coach Prime was definitely present. You could see him on the television broadcast. You could feel his energy radiating throughout the building. After the game concluded, he posted a very Coach Prime reaction on social media that immediately went viral and generated massive engagement across multiple platforms. The father-son dynamic adds yet another compelling layer to this already fascinating story. Deion Sanders raised a quarterback who possesses not just the physical tools, but also the mental fortitude, the competitive drive, and the strength of character necessary to succeed at the highest level of professional football. He spent Shedeur's entire life preparing him for exactly this type of moment. And now, watching from the stands rather than coaching from the sideline, he got to see his son accomplish something that no other rookie quarterback has achieved this season. Regardless of the final score on the scoreboard, That had to rank among the proudest moments of his entire life. Yes, despite Shedeur doing absolutely everything a quarterback could possibly do to win a football game, the Browns still managed to lose 31-29. The defense, which entered Week 14 ranked second in the entire NFL, suddenly forgot how to stop the run. Tony Pollard gashed them for 184 rushing yards at an astronomical 6.4 yards per carry, keeping Tennessee ahead for most of the contest. The special teams unit maintained their season-long tradition of committing catastrophic mistakes, adding a blocked punt to their ever-growing highlight reel of lowlights. And then there was the failed two-point conversion attempt that would have tied the game, where Kevin Stefanski, in his infinite wisdom, decided to run yet another direct snap to the running back with Sanders not even on the field for the most critical play of the game. It's the most Cleveland Browns thing imaginable. Having your quarterback deliver the best performance of any rookie quarterback all season long and still losing because of atrocious coaching decisions, defensive breakdowns, and special teams disasters. At this point, the Browns are genuinely inventing creative new ways to lose football games. It would be almost impressive if it weren't so infuriating and heartbreaking. But here's what everyone who's upset about the loss is missing right now, what they're failing to understand about the bigger picture. Cleveland's primary objective at this juncture of the season shouldn't be winning games. They're 3-10. They're not competing for a playoff berth. They're not going to the postseason. The final 4 games should be entirely about evaluation, development, and answering the single most important question this franchise has faced in 3 decades. Can Shedeur Sanders be the long-term answer to their quarterback problem that has plagued them for 30 years? The Cleveland Browns have been searching for a franchise quarterback for 3 decades. They've drafted them high, signed them as free agents, traded valuable assets for them, and tried every conceivable strategy to find that one player who can serve as the face of the franchise and lead them to sustained success. Since returning to the league, they've employed more starting quarterbacks than most people can name off the top of their head. It's been a revolving door of disappointment, a carousel of failed experiments, a graveyard of broken dreams and wasted potential. They may have finally found their guy in the 5th round, albeit in the most unlikely and roundabout manner possible. A player they didn't even particularly want. A developmental project who wasn't supposed to see the field this year. A selection made almost as an afterthought. A lottery ticket they didn't expect to cash in. But he has stepped up and performed better than anyone could have reasonably anticipated. Not just playing well for a 5th-round pick. Not just playing well for a rookie. Playing well, period. Full stop. Performing at a level that would be impressive for a veteran quarterback with years of experience, let alone someone just beginning his professional career. Kevin Stefanski had to face the media once again at his post-game press conference. And for the first time since Sanders began receiving regular playing time, nobody bothered asking whether he would start the following week. That question has finally been definitively answered after a performance that shattered records and produced nearly 400 total yards. Of course he will start next week. How could he possibly not? Stefanski offered that he battled the entire game, just like we anticipated he would, which is an interesting statement because his in-game decisions suggested he didn't trust Shedeur nearly as much as that quote would imply. With any young player, there are going to be positive moments and negative moments, successes and learning opportunities, but Stefanski admitted there were some really outstanding plays. Outstanding plays. That might be the understatement of the century. These weren't just some good moments scattered throughout an otherwise average performance. This was a performance for the ages. This was the best game any rookie quarterback has produced this entire season. This was Shedeur Sanders announcing to every team in the league that he belongs, that he should have been selected much higher, that Cleveland needs to recognize immediately that they have something genuinely special on their hands before they screw it up, like they've screwed up so many other opportunities. The immediate aftermath of this game will focus on the loss, the what-ifs, the frustration about how an extraordinary individual performance was squandered because the rest of the team failed to execute their responsibilities. And that's completely understandable. The Browns absolutely should have won this game. They were playing at home, they were favored, their quarterback played out of his mind. But they still found a way to lose because of questionable coaching decisions and mistakes that had nothing whatsoever to do with Shedeur's performance. But zoom out and examine the bigger picture that's developing here. This game might be remembered as the moment everything changed for Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. This performance may have not only secured his position in the starting lineup for the remainder of this season, but potentially locked down the job for next season and beyond. This could represent the first major step toward finally solving the quarterback problem that has tormented this franchise for 30 years. Is Sanders the answer they've been desperately searching for? Could he be the franchise quarterback Cleveland has been trying to find since they returned to the league? After Sunday's historic performance, the answer appears increasingly obvious with each passing day. Yes, absolutely, without question. The talent is undeniable and impossible to ignore. The accuracy is exceptional. The mobility is better than people give him credit for. The leadership is evident to everyone watching. The clutch gene is absolutely real and has been demonstrated repeatedly. The ability to bounce back from mistakes and make plays when they matter most has been proven time and time again. What remains uncertain is whether the Browns organization, particularly Kevin Stefanski, will get out of Shedeur's way and allow him to be great. Will they commit to him as the unquestioned starter moving forward? Will they design the offense around his strengths and what he does best? Will they trust him in crucial situations instead of pulling him for gimmick plays that make no sense? Will they provide him with the protection and weapons he needs to succeed at the highest level? Will they create an environment where a young quarterback can develop and thrive? Or will they continue undermining him at every turn? These are the questions that will determine whether this remarkable performance represents a one-time anomaly or the beginning of something truly special in Cleveland. Based on what we've observed from Stefanski throughout this season, it's entirely reasonable to question whether he's the right coach to maximize Shedeur's immense potential. But based on what we've witnessed from Shedeur, there's absolutely no doubt that he possesses the talent to become a franchise quarterback in this league. It would be the most Cleveland Browns thing ever if they discovered their franchise quarterback in the 1 year when everyone else in the league completely whiffed on evaluating that player. A fifth-round steal that nobody wanted, that everyone dismissed as a reach, that had to fight for every opportunity, becoming the answer they've been seeking all along. It would be poetic justice. It would be redemption for all the years of suffering. It would represent the ultimate vindication and the greatest told you so to the rest of the league. And it would make every single team that passed on Shedeur Sanders look foolish for years to come. Tennessee, who selected Cam Ward first overall. Every franchise that picked a quarterback before the 5th round. Every organization that evaluated these prospects and determined that Shedeur wasn't worth a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round selection. They're all going to have to explain for years how they missed on a player who made history in just his 3rd NFL start. The numbers tell a compelling story on their own. 364 yards passing, 3 touchdown passes, 29 yards rushing, 1 rushing touchdown. But raw statistics don't capture the complete picture of what happened on that field. They don't reflect the composure he displayed in the pocket under pressure. They don't measure the accuracy of his ball placement. They don't account for the leadership qualities he demonstrated. They don't capture the respect he's earning from teammates like Myles Garrett. They don't consider that he's accomplishing all of this while playing for a losing team with a coach who seems reluctant to fully commit to him in a league where this franchise has struggled with the quarterback position for 3 decades. The context and circumstances matter tremendously. What Shedeur Sanders accomplished on Sunday is even more impressive than the historic numbers indicate on their surface. He didn't just produce the best game of the season for a rookie quarterback. He did it under the worst possible conditions imaginable. He did it with everything working against him. He did it while his defense surrendered 184 rushing yards and his special teams allowed a blocked punt. He did it despite being removed from the game at critical moments for plays that made absolutely no sense strategically. He did it because of who he is, because of the exceptional talent he possesses, because of his mental toughness and unwavering determination. And now everybody in the NFL knows it. The secret is out. The truth can no longer be hidden or denied. Shedeur Sanders is the genuine article, the real deal. And no amount of pre-draft disrespect, draft position, or coaching sabotage can conceal that reality anymore. The remaining 4 games of this season carry enormous significance. This isn't just about finishing strong or playing out meaningless games on the schedule. This is about Shedeur building on this tremendous performance, continuing his upward trajectory, and proving that he's not merely the best rookie quarterback of 2025, but potentially one of the best young quarterbacks in the entire league, regardless of draft class or pedigree. This is about cementing himself as the unquestioned starter for 2026 and beyond. This is about developing chemistry with the receivers, mastering the offense at NFL speed, and demonstrating that Sunday's performance wasn't a fluke, but rather the establishment of a new standard. If Shedeur can maintain this level of play throughout the final 4 games, the entire conversation in Cleveland will shift dramatically. It will transform from "can he be the guy" to "how do we build around our franchise quarterback?" It will evolve from uncertainty to confidence. It will progress from searching to finding. And that would represent the ultimate vindication for Shedeur, for Coach Prime who trained and prepared him, for the scouts who believed in him when others didn't, for the fans who have supported him, and for everyone who understood that draft position doesn't define talent. And this young man was special, regardless of when his name was called. On Sunday, something unprecedented occurred in the National Football League. A 5th-round pick outperformed every other rookie quarterback in his draft class to produce the best single-game performance of the season. The 144th overall selection played better than the 1st overall pick. The overlooked prospect became the standout performer. The kid everyone passed on made all of them look foolish. And this is only the beginning of what promises to be a remarkable story. The Browns need to recognize what they have, get out of Shedeur Sanders' way, and build around him rather than continuing to undermine his development. If they make that commitment, if they provide the support and resources he needs, he's going to continue making history in Cleveland for years to come. The 30-year search for a franchise quarterback may finally be reaching its conclusion, and it's going to be because of a 5th-round pick that nobody wanted, but who has proven to be exactly the player everyone wishes they had selected. The 2025 NFL season will be remembered for many storylines, but few will be as compelling as watching Shedeur Sanders systematically prove that talent trumps draft position every single time. 364 yards, 3 touchdown passes, 1 rushing touchdown, the best rookie quarterback performance of the entire season. And he's just getting started. The league has been put on notice. Every team that passed on him has been served their wake-up call. Cleveland may have stumbled into their franchise quarterback entirely by accident. And that might be the most beautiful irony of all. If this historic performance has you excited about what's coming next, if you believe Shedeur Sanders just proved he should have been a 1st-round pick all along, if you think Cleveland finally found their guy after 30 years of searching, then you need to hit that like button right now. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think Shedeur is going to accomplish in these final 4 games. Tell me if you believe the Browns will commit to him as their franchise quarterback, or if they'll somehow manage to screw this up like they've screwed up so many other opportunities throughout their history. And whatever you do, don't you dare leave without subscribing and turning on those notifications, because we're going to be tracking every single game of Shedeur's historic rookie season. You won't want to miss a second of this incredible journey as it continues to unfold. We're witnessing the birth of something special, the emergence of a star, the validation of a young man who refused to let draft position define his destiny. We're here to document every moment, every milestone, every time he proves the doubters wrong. Remember this always: talent doesn't care about draft position. Greatness doesn't wait for permission. And Shedeur Sanders just proved both of those truths beyond any shadow of doubt. The 5th-round rejection just became the rookie of the future. And the best part is we all get to watch it happen in real time. This is history in the making. This is vindication personified. This is what happens when talent meets opportunity, meets determination. Welcome to the Shedeur Sanders era, whether the Cleveland Browns realize it yet or not.